Explosive return to public life. Liz Truss has used an article in today's Sunday Telegraph to defend her actions as Prime Minister during her ill-fated 44 days in charge, saying that she was right to cut taxes and go for growth. Now, given that the IMF have predicted a recession this year, partly as a result of our higher taxes, has she been proved right? Given that her message about shrinking the size of the state is a deeply conservative one, and given the fact that she wants to make the economy more lean and more efficient and make Britain a low-tax haven for investment, should she have a seat around the cabinet table? So that's tonight's big question. Should Rishi Sunak bring back Liz Truss? Let's discuss this now with former Conservative government minister and best-selling author Anne Widdecombe and another former Conservative government minister and best-selling author. It's the clash of the titans, Edwina Currie. Edwina, this is a very experienced politician and cabinet minister who served in the Treasury, the Foreign Office and the Trade Department. Surely she has a contribution to make to public life.
Yeah, well, she got to be Prime Minister and turned out to be an absolute disaster. I mean, you know, what she's actually done over this weekend is wrong. She should be supporting the Conservative Prime Minister. If she wants to criticise anybody and still wants to be a politician, how about having a go at Labour and the strikes? There's big strikes tomorrow, Monday, which are going to cause an awful lot of pain and disruption. That would be a very good target. But instead, she has to go at just about everybody. And, you know, she's fundamentally not understood what happened. I mean, she talks about we need to make the arguments. Nobody's been making the arguments for growth. Oh, well, I agree. But then if you're Prime Minister, you're in prime position to be able to do that. And she was hopeless, absolutely hopeless. When she opened her mouth, nothing came out. She held press conferences where she wouldn't take any questions from the press. I mean, you know, and also her remedy, actually going for growth by cutting the taxes of the richest, was designed, I think, ultimately to be really quite offensive to an awful lot of people. It wasn't going to go in her way. And she really never, ever understood it. And she doesn't understand it any better now. No, for heaven's sake, don't put her anywhere near the cabinet ever again.
Well, look, that's Edwina Currie not sitting on the fence. Anne Widdecombe, the bottom line is that, yes, her communication was found wanting as Prime Minister. The execution of that mini-budget was poorly delivered. However, the message was right, and surely that's a voice that should be heard in Cabinet. Low taxes and proper Conservative values.
Well, I would have rather hoped that, you know, it wouldn't just be Liz Truss who would make that voice heard. That voice should be regularly being heard around the cabinet table, because low taxes, high growth, making us competitive, all those things are good, sound Tory policies, and it takes a lot of believing that they're not discussed. But if they are discussed, they're certainly not followed. Now, do I think she should be in the cabinet? Not at this juncture. No, because I think it would be too controversial and it would be a diversion from the main business. But do I think her voice should be heard? Yes. And actually, one of the things that intrigued me about that article was she said that she had not realised some of the implications for pensions, which was quite abstruse when I read it. But hang on. You know, she had all the advice of the Treasury, I presume. She had all the advice of the Pensions Department, I presume. If she didn't, then that is a very big question. What the dickens was going on?
Well, indeed. And is this the hand of the blob at work, Anne Widdecombe? Because she said expressly in this Sunday Telegraph article that nobody mentioned this issue about pensions to her, including senior civil servants.
But I mean, it just seems to me totally extraordinary. Now, I have no time for what is now called the blob. But I think there are some very good civil servants. I dealt with good civil servants in my time. I also dealt with the other sort. But I do think that the establishment is now following a very one-sided policy and going in one direction. Therefore, I don't have much time for what is disparagingly called the blob. But what I do know is, and Edwina knows as well, is how government works. And it is just beyond comprehension that she wasn't briefed on that particular likely result of the policy that she was implementing. And she doesn't deny in this article that that was a massive, massive stumbling block when it came to actually the policy taking off. She doesn't, she doesn't disguise that. Now, I don't understand it. And what I'm asking is, how was she not told all of that? Or the Chancellor, Kwasi Kwarteng, how was he not told all that?
Edwina Currie, was the defenestration of Liz Truss orchestrated by the left within government?
No. It was the whole country going, oh, my God, let's get rid of her quick because she's a disaster. Anne and I have both been ministers. And if you're proposing something that's quite different, something new, one of the things you do is a bit of wargaming. You say to your senior advisors, your civil servants and everyone else, what can go wrong? What can go wrong? Tell me what can go wrong. We are making assumptions here about how to improve things, how to make things happen. And it's plain as anything that Liz Truss, it never occurred to her to say to the senior people in the Treasury or to the OBR, whom they didn't consult, or the Bank of England, what can go wrong with this? Because they would have been told very, very quickly. And it's plain as anything that she wasn't interested in any negative comments that might actually delay this. Now, as for we need to hear this voice from the current cabinet, I agree. And I would counsel you, my sources tell me that March the 15th, which is the date of the budget, the spring budget, will be bringing forward some quite radical changes, and we will see some ideas that will help with growth. They won't be crazy ones, and they won't upset the markets. And I think they will be very, very welcome, and hopefully they'll start to